Look, I want to talk to you about something that almost nobody explains clearly, even though it affects almost everyone sooner or later. Most people worry about wrinkles, gray hair, or gaining weight as they get older, but very few people think seriously about what happens to their muscles. And the truth is, muscle loss is one of the main reasons why aging feels harder than it should. What usually happens is very subtle. You don't wake up one day feeling weak, you just start feeling more tired. You recover slower. Carrying groceries feels heavier. Stairs feel more exhausting. Getting up from the floor takes more effort. And you think, well, I'm getting older. This is normal. But in many cases, it's not just age, it's muscle slowly disappearing. From around your 30s, most people begin losing muscle little by little. If nothing is done about it, that loss accelerates after 40 and even more after 50. This process is called sarcopenia, but you don't need to remember that word. What matters is understanding that your body starts breaking down muscle faster than it rebuilds it. And here's the thing. Muscle loss doesn't just affect how strong you are, it affects how independent you stay, how energetic you feel, how well you recover from illness, and even how confident you feel in your daily life. Losing muscle is one of the fastest ways to lose quality of life. Now, most people think the solution is only exercise, and yes, strength training is very important. But today I want to focus on something that is just as important and often ignored: food. More specifically, one type of food that plays a massive role in protecting muscle as you get older. And that food is high quality protein rich foods, especially animal based proteins like eggs, fish, dairy, lean meat, and fermented dairy. Let me explain why. As you age, your muscles become less sensitive to protein. This is something scientists call anabolic resistance. It simply means that when you eat protein, your muscles don't respond as strongly as they did when you were younger. So you need more protein and better quality protein to stimulate muscle repair. When you're 20, you can eat a small amount of protein and still build muscle. When you're 50, that same amount might do almost nothing. Many people keep eating the same way they always have, and their muscles slowly shrink because they're not getting enough building material. One of the biggest mistakes older adults make is eating very little protein, especially in the morning. Toast and coffee for breakfast, salad for lunch, soup for dinner. That may sound healthy, but it's not enough to maintain muscle. Your muscles need regular signals throughout the day that say build, repair, maintain. And those signals come from protein. Now, among all protein-rich foods, there is one that stands out because of its combination of quality, digestibility, nutrients, and accessibility. Eggs. Eggs are one of the most complete foods for muscle health, especially in older adults. They contain all essential amino acids, including leucine, which is the key amino acid that triggers muscle protein synthesis. Without enough leucine, your muscles don't get the message to grow. Eggs are also easy to digest, affordable, and versatile. You can eat them at breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Boiled, scrambled, poached, in omelets. They fit into almost any routine. But eggs are not the only important food. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines also play a major role. They provide high-quality protein plus omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammation and improve muscle function. Studies show that omega-3 can make muscles more sensitive to protein, meaning your body uses protein more efficiently. Dairy products like Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and milk are also extremely helpful. They contain casein and whey proteins, which digest at different speeds. This provides a steady flow of amino acids to muscles. Casein in particular is great before bed because it supports overnight muscle repair. Lean meats like chicken, turkey, and beef provide complete protein plus iron, zinc, and B vitamins, which support energy and muscle metabolism. Iron helps carry oxygen. Zinc supports hormone production. B vitamins help convert food into energy. Now, some people prefer plant-based diets, and it is possible to protect muscle with plant foods, but it requires more planning. Legumes, tofu, tempeh, quinoa, and nuts can contribute protein, but they usually need to be combined and eaten in larger amounts to match animal proteins. The problem is that many older adults eat smaller portions as they age, which makes it harder to get enough protein from plant sources alone. That doesn't mean plant diets are bad, it means you need to be intentional. Another key point is timing. It's not enough to eat protein once per day. Your muscles respond best when protein is spread across meals. Ideally, you want 25 to 40 grams of protein per meal, depending on body size and activity level. For example, instead of a low-protein breakfast, you could have eggs with yogurt. Instead of just soup for lunch, you could add chicken or beans. Instead of only vegetables for dinner, you could include fish or tofu. Small changes, big impact. Now let's talk about something people rarely connect to muscle: inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation increases with age. It comes from stress, poor sleep, processed food, excess sugar, and lack of movement. Inflammation interferes with muscle repair. It tells your body to break down tissue instead of rebuilding it. That's why foods like fatty fish, olive oil, vegetables, berries, and nuts matter. They don't just provide nutrients. They create an environment where muscle can survive and grow. Vitamin D is another critical factor. Low vitamin D is extremely common in older adults, especially in people who spend little time in the sun. Vitamin D affects muscle strength, balance, and coordination. Low levels are associated with higher fall risk and weaker muscles. Many people train and eat well but remain deficient in vitamin D, which limits their results. Blood tests and proper supplementation can be very helpful here. Magnesium also plays a role. It supports muscle contraction, relaxation, and energy production. Low magnesium can cause cramps, weakness, and fatigue. It's found in nuts, seeds, whole grains, and leafy greens. Now let's address appetite. As people age, appetite often decreases. You feel full faster, you eat less. That makes it harder to get enough protein and calories. That's why nutrient-dense foods become so important. You want foods that give you a lot of nutrition in small portions. Eggs, yogurt, fish, and protein-rich smoothies can be very useful for this. Another overlooked factor is chewing and digestion. Dental issues, low stomach acid, or digestive problems can reduce protein absorption. In those cases, softer foods, soups with added protein, fermented dairy, and easily digestible proteins become even more valuable. Now, let's talk about exercise briefly because food alone is not enough. Protein protects muscle best when combined with resistance training. Even simple exercises with body weight, resistance bands, or light weights send a signal to your body. We need this muscle. Without that signal, much of the protein you eat will be used for other purposes. 2 or 3 strength sessions per week are enough. They don't need to be extreme, they need to be consistent. Walking also helps, but it does not replace strength training. Sleep is another foundation. Most muscle repair happens at night. Poor sleep blocks recovery. If you sleep 5 hours, you are sabotaging your efforts no matter how good your diet is. Stress management matters too. Chronic stress increases cortisol, which breaks down muscle. Taking care of your mental health is part of taking care of your muscles. Now let's put this into a practical daily example. A muscle-supportive day could look like this. Breakfast, eggs with vegetables and yogurt. Lunch, chicken or fish with rice and vegetables. Snack, cottage cheese or a protein smoothie. Dinner, salmon, potatoes, and salad. Before bed, milk or yogurt. This is not a strict plan. It's an example of how protein can be spread throughout the day. And finally, I want to address motivation. Many older adults think it's too late to change. They think decline is inevitable, but that's not true. Muscle responds at almost any age. I've seen people in their 70s become stronger than they were in their 50s. The human body is incredibly adaptable when you give it the right signals. So if there is one message I want you to take from this video, it's this. Protecting your muscles is one of the best investments you can make in your future. And one of the simplest ways to do that is by prioritizing high-quality protein-rich foods every day, especially foods like eggs, fish, dairy, and lean meats, combined with regular movement and good recovery. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Small choices repeated for years create strong bodies and independent lives.